gentlemen, welcome to the Marathon of Champions. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes? Very good. Thank you so much. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. 1 second, please. Can you hear me now? Is it good? Can you hear? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. All righty. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Marathon of Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we're having some technical now. Are we good now? All righty. How are we? Sound? Yes. Very good. All righty. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, one last time, welcome. But in the meantime, let's introduce our co-hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-hosts, Marathon of Champions are Claire Shepard, Alexander Ardilli. Hey,
Hello.
Hey guys,
how are you today?
welcome to the marathon.
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you excited for the show that we have prepared today?
I'm so excited. I think we've got some really great couples here, and I'm really excited to just learn a little bit more about their lives.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alex, what do you think about our guest surprise guests?
Oh, I think they're great. I think they have a lot of great things to bring to the marathon.
Awesome, very good, very good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that we all please rise for the singing of our national anthem by Joseph Galloway.
Hello, my name is Joseph Galloway. I would like to thank Scalora DanceSport for this opportunity to sing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who saw stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Joseph Galloway. Let's get right into it with our first couple, Marathon of Champions. Our first couple is Diana Barlow and Giuseppe Giudice. Hello, guys.
Ciao,
Hi.
bene, bene. Non si sente quasi niente, ma
Non si sente? So, ladies and gentlemen, with us today,
Mm.
helping us with Giuseppe. Giuseppe is Italian. We have Miss Lorenza Todaro will translate. Lorenza, how are we today?
Hello, I'm fine. I can barely hear anything.
Let's
Giuseppe, tu mi senti?
Sì, sì, ti sento bene.
Ok, io sento benissimo te e Chiara, ma Alessandro non si sente malissimo.
Ah,
How are we now?
Eh,
Ale, non cambi niente, cioè sembra la stessa cosa.
no.
Beh, dai, io ti sento almeno, ti sento. Poco, ma ti sento.
Okay, what about now?
Ok, adesso molto meglio.
Okay, now I have to figure out how to turn on the camera, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise our rehearsal was perfect. Everything was amazing.
Uh-oh. I can hear Zaza.
Yeah.
Guys, we're having some technical. How are we now?
We can hear you now, but we can't see you.
Guys, I apologize for this. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay, now we can hear you and see you, maybe.
Yes, you can see me, but where is... Ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit embarrassing. I cannot find the camera. Where is the... Excuse me. Okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. If you could just take 5 seconds and we're gonna fix these technical difficulties. Let's go to a quick break. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are ready to go. Giuseppe, how are we?
Così è meglio.
Very good, very good, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for those errors. Let's get right back to it. Let's have the wonderful Miss Chiara Barlo and Miss Fiorenza Todaro.
Hello.
Let's begin, guys. Now, when did both of you begin to dance? Let's start with this.
Prima lei, ragazzi.
Yes, you're right. Ladies first. Miss Chiara Barlo, when did you two begin to dance?
Well, first we just had a tryout in Bulgaria, and then it worked out, and then we started to dance with each other. So
Very good, very good, very good. All right. So, Mr. Giuseppe, what could you tell us is your favorite profession aside from dance?
Il calcio.
Do you have il calcio? Miss
Certo.
Fiorenza, what is he
Soccer.
talking
So
about?
Giuseppe's is very fond of soccer.
Very well, very well. Soccer. So, Mr. Giuseppe, I asked this question for you. What could you tell us a little bit about maybe the craziest or maybe the coolest story that you have of you and Chiana Barlo's partnership? What could you tell us?
Una delle più interessanti, diciamo, che quando siamo andati in Romania con Chiana, che c'era una gara molto, diciamo, bella come punti, di ogni cosa, era una bella gara. Solo non era bene organizzata. Per questo noi siamo andati là dall'1.
So what Giuseppe is saying is that when they went to Bulgaria, did you say Bulgaria or Romania?
Romania.
Romania. So they went to Romania for a competition, and when they arrived there, the competition was not very well organized. Vai Giuseppe.
Sì, per questo ci siamo vissuti dall'1 e alla fine abbiamo volato alle 7.
So they got ready for the competition, and at 1 o'clock they were ready basically, and they started to dance at 7 p.m.
Ci siamo fatti alla semifinale e alla fine Chiana, quando è andata a guardare se siamo passati, non si è capito niente e abbiamo capito che non siamo passati in pratica.
Okay, so well, after they competed, they did the semifinal, and Chiana was supposed to check if they actually qualified for the final.
Alla fine ne siamo andati, quando già eravamo in Bulgaria abbiamo capito che dovevamo ballare.
Okay, so basically they left because Chiana told Giuseppe that they didn't make the final. So they left, and while they were traveling from Romania to Bulgaria, they realized that they made the final.
Questo.
Oh, wow.
And they couldn't go back.
Ah, okay. So, very interesting, very interesting. So, Miss Chiana Barlo, let me ask you this. So, with Giuseppe living in Bulgaria and you here in Atlanta, how do you guys train? How do you guys stay communicating?
So we mostly just do Zoom private classes online, and then we also do Zoom practice, like self-practice together. And then we just have our teachers from Italy train us on Zoom, and yeah.
Ah, and how do you guys find Zoom? Is it beneficial? Giuseppe, what are your thoughts? How is this new style of training?
Diciamo che per il momento non si può fare altro, è una buona idea.
So Giuseppe is saying that for the time being, they really don't have any other options, and it works out very well. It's a good idea.
Very interesting, very interesting. This next question is for the both of you. Which part of the day do you like to practice most? Which part is your favorite part of the day to practice?
I'll go first. So I like to practice mostly either in the evening or noon. Either or doesn't really matter, but I like to practice in noon because afterwards you can finish whatever you have to do in the morning, and then in the evening it's free, and then noon you just practice. So yeah.
And Giuseppe, what about you?
Beh, per me o il pomeriggio oppure la sera, perché anche dipende dalla scuola, dagli altri compiti che ho da fare in pratica.
So Giuseppe? Yeah, Giuseppe is saying that he prefers to practice either in late afternoon or night because of school commitments. So if he has any homework to do, he takes care of the homework first, and then he practices.
Very good, very good, very good. Miss Chiana, how did you two begin dancing? he lives in Bulgaria and you're here in the US. How did you two meet?
So I believe the story is that my mom saw him at a competition dancing, and Salvatore, which is a standard teacher in Italy, I think he was talking to Giuseppe's parents, and he was like, "Hey, there's a girl in America who's free and doesn't have a dance partner. Like, you guys can try
Qualcosa
out
del
with her."
genere.
And then my mom and Salvatore were talking with each other, and then his parents were talking with my mom and Salvatore, and we just decided to go to Bulgaria to have a tryout.
Very cool, very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chiana Barlo and Giuseppe Lo Giudice. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I will see you guys later, yes? Bye, bye, guys. Thank you to Miss Fiorenza Todoro for
Bye,
translating.
guys. Thank you. Ciao. Ciao, Giuseppe. Ciao.
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 Ciao, Chiana.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have Mr. Alex, who will be talking about why it is beneficial for USA Dance to have a social side. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you, Ale. Thank you for the opportunity. So there are many benefits of having a social side in the ballroom industry. United States, probably USA Dance, is the only federation probably in the world or between the few that actually have a social side. And if you think about it, it's a very good idea. First of all, you get more dancers because you have the social side. So there are, let's say, their physical activity. You get to exercise because ballroom dancing is not just an art; it's also a sport. So you get physical activity. You move around the floor, and then second of all, you can increase your social skills because you meet people, you engage in conversations, you make new friends, you go to parties, and it's just great. And then the most important thing, in my opinion, is you build a community. So you get to build a community. You get to give back to the community. You teach people dancing, whether it's like for getting ready for a wedding or just for fun. So it's just a great idea. It's a great opportunity. This is my opinion.
Very good. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our second couple in the Marathon of Champions. You know them and you love them. It's Sima and Matthew. Hello, guys.
How are you?
How are you today?
We're good.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Liz, how was your day today? Did you have a good day today?
So far, yes.
Interesting.
It's an interesting
Very
day.
good. Looks like we decided to match with turtlenecks.
Yes, but like not a white one or a red one.
That's right. There you go. Roll
Yours.
Tide. Let's get right into it. So clearly, you guys have traveled the globe. So you guys are dancers, scholars, and you go to college. How do you manage to balance these three things: work, dance, and studies?
So basically, Matthew and I, we take everything we do very seriously, but sometimes we know what we have to prioritize. So for example, we had experiences where we had a test on Monday, but we had a competition on the weekend, and we would be like, okay, we're gonna like, what's it called? We're gonna like study on the plane.
Yeah.
We're gonna study on the plane rather than sitting at home and studying. We're gonna study on the plane, so we're kind of giving that up. But you know, we would still do fine. And then also, like last year, we were supposed to go to a world championship in Russia for show dance, but we had finals in school, and we had to prioritize school. So we weren't able to go, unfortunately. But other than that, like it's fine. We just know sometimes when we have to prioritize one or the other.
It's especially interesting when we have to go to Europe one weekend, and then Monday, bam, exam.
Yeah,
That's the best.
We come with like eyes like this, but we're like, we're here.
That's true. That's true. Tell me, what are you guys majoring in? What is your field of study?
So originally I was an environmental science major, and then I switched to math, but I'm still environmental studies minor.
And I'm a media studies major. I'm focusing on journalism and TV studio, and I am minoring in dance.
Very cool. Very interesting. So you guys talked about going to Europe. Clearly, like I said earlier, you guys travel the world, you travel the globe. So my following question would be, if you could learn another language, what would it be and why?
Ooh, I definitely would love to speak in Italian or Spanish, especially hearing Giuseppe speak. I'm just like, okay, I need to learn Italian. And definitely Spanish because I love Spain. I feel like if I lived else, it would be Spain. So.
She's always talking about living in Spain.
Always.
We were in Spain once or twice. We were in Spain twice. Once in Barcelona, once in Bilbao. And Simon was like, I'm going to live in Spain.
I love both.
Yeah.
But what language do you want to learn?
I contemplated between Italian and Chinese. Chinese because it's very different. Italian because
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
a beautiful language.
Yeah.
I will be double majoring in Russian and Chinese. I will be honest with you, Sima. As soon my love for Barcelona, I'll tell you where it grew. Maybe you know, and maybe we share the same love, is when the Cheetah Girls went to Barcelona.
You know what? I think that's where it started.
Yes. When the Cheetah Girls went to Barcelona, I was like, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go off track for a second. But if you guys know what we're talking about, if you guys know the number, Amigas Cheetahs by the Cheetah Girl, I wanted to be part of that number so bad.
I know. And that guy playing the guitar, that's
yes. It was very nice. So going back a little bit to our dance topic, you guys are 10 dance, yes? So you do the Latin and the standard. So which of the 10 dances is your favorite?
I think we both agree. I think we looked at each other when we saw the question and we were like, samba.
We love samba, like the music, the dance itself, like
the vibe,
and just the culture of the dance. Like if you look at videos of original samba, like in Brazil and stuff, it's just so awesome.
It's like our soul dance.
Yeah.
If I wasn't the redhead and had a soul, that would be my soul dance. And samba's like samba is Sima in dance form.
Yeah.
Okay, so your favorite of the 10 is samba. So of the standard dances, which one is your favorite?
I know which one's your favorite.
Tango.
Oh, yeah.
I love tango.
Tango. Very well. When you go to Europe, or even when you compete here in the US, one must be prepared, one must be physically prepared, mentally prepared. But I ask you, what meal is your favorite before you eat, before you go and compete? What is your favorite meal to prepare yourself with for the day to go compete?
Honestly, we prioritize mainly like hydrating a lot. And let's say a competition's like in the evening. So we would wake up in the morning, we would probably have a meal of something not super heavy, but you know, we eat like bananas and nuts in between rounds and stuff like that. But definitely we prioritize also having carbs the night before. And then we're hydrating most of the day. Yeah,
the general rule, well, first of all, you should always drink a lot of water. This is just, you can't really go wrong with water.
Yeah.
The general rule, if we wanted to generalize, like 12 hours before the comp or the night before, you have a lot of carbs. 6 to 8 hours fish and like maybe steak a little bit before. And then you don't want to have anything really too heavy. So maybe like a chocolate bar, like an hour and a half.
Right.
To half an hour before.
Some sugar.
It's just should be stressed that it depends on the person too, though. Some people, I know people that don't want to eat anything like the day of the competition.
Yeah, but this is him getting mathematical about it. I just, I eat when I want to.
Just to add my little 2 cents, my mother is Sicilian, so I eat before the dance competition. So guys, listen, can you tell me the most craziest or funniest anything you tell me, experience that you guys have experienced throughout your dance career.
Okay. We
There's a
know
lot of funny ones.
we know this one, like we have a lot of experiences, interesting ones, funny ones, but there's one that was like the most interesting and fun one. I think that it was when we went to Bratislava, so Slovakia. It was also a show dance world championship in 2018. And we had like, what was it, 3 places that we were at.
So basically over the weekend, we went to 3 countries and back.
And so what it was like we had our morning coffee in Slovakia. Then we had breakfast in Austria, right? Then we had a 9-hour layover in France, which is very interesting because it was like I was trying to practice my very little French that I know.
Yeah.
And Matthew was just like on 0 hours of sleep. And
so was her mom.
And my mom came with us, And they were just dragging each other while I'm like trying to speak French. And then we had dinner in New York. So it's just really cool to say, oh, we had all these meals and coffee in different countries.
And the professor at school was like, what did you guys do over the weekend that casually?
Yeah.
We went to,
I just went to the airport in France. Nothing crazy, you know. It's just.
Yeah, we just went. We had you know, our meals around the world.
Yeah, we just traveled to Europe and back. No big deal. I think it was one of the longest weekends.
It was. It felt quick. I'm not even gonna lie. It felt quick, but it was long.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very interesting. So I have one final question for you guys. Seeing you guys travel a lot, like I said earlier, you guys are very competitive, very travel a lot couple, and you must have good advice. So I ask you, what advice would you give to a social dancer that has thoughts to be a competitive dancer? He or she wants to begin a competitive career, but is not quite sure where to start.
Sorry, Matthew's cat is just brushing on our legs, so it tickles.
I'm sorry.
But I would say personally that the most important thing is I know a lot of social dancers have fun, and that's amazing. Like every time I see people having fun dancing, doing what they love, it's always so nice to watch. And sometimes when you're in a competitive ground, you might sometimes get lost in it and you would not enjoy some moments, you would get frustrated. But honestly, I would say to continue enjoying it no matter what you're doing, even if you want to take it more seriously, you know, practice more, yes. Take interesting classes that would make you interested in wanting to dance competitively. Because, you know, if you don't want it, then it's going to be a little bit difficult to be competitive.
I think that's the most important. It's like you
Yeah.
have to make the decision, and then you have to figure out. You have to basically be prepared before you make that decision, because it's not just I'm going to go to the studio more like double the amount of time. I mean, it may involve that, but there's a lot of suffering involved. For example, if you find basic boring, I have bad news for you.
Not even that. He breaks
like
my nails. He breaks my nails all the time.
There's that too. Flying elbows.
I could never have long nails, but it's okay. I always elbow him in the nose. You just gotta get ready for some brutal beatings. No, but we're kidding. But in all seriousness, like you just have to want it and continue enjoying it. You know, it's something that you love to do. We're not in the competitive field just to compete with people because we want to beat them. You know, we do it because we love it and we want to achieve something together.
It's motivation to want to beat people, but it can't be the only thing that drives you, because you can do that in anything.
Yeah. So
that is true. So, Miss Seema, Mr. Matthew, I'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for coming on to the Marathon of Champions. We will see you later on.
Thank you so much, Alessandro, for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we will have our co-host, Miss Claire Shepard, give us a little talk about motivation. Miss Claire Shepard, how are you today? There you are.
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm great. We're really enjoying the marathon. So when it comes to motivation, I'm a competitive dancer myself as well. And especially during times like these, where there's not as much dancing going on, as much competing, it can be a little hard to stay motivated sometimes because it's a little more of a depressing time. But kind of what keeps me motivated. Excuse me. I think about where I want to be a year from now and what I want to do, what I need to do to get to where I want to be. So whether that be eating healthy, just exercising, practicing by myself. That's what we have to do a lot. I try to keep the end goal in mind, and every day do something that helps you work towards reaching that goal. So, and you can also just do fun things too. I watch videos of my favorite dancers every day, and that helps keep me motivated to keep practicing and working hard, and just stay motivated throughout these tough times.
Very good. Thank you so much, Miss Claire Shepard. We will see you later on as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our third couple. Let me prepare you guys. We have Mr. Igor and Michelle and LeBlanc. Ladies and gentlemen, Igor and Michelle, how are you guys?
Introduction. I love it.
How are you today?
Good. How are you, Alessandro?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We're doing
good.
perfect. We have training camp like next fall. I just finished my group lessons, so.
Really? Tell me about it. How was it? What was the class on?
You gotta ask the kids. They look very
Okay,
bored, but sweaty. My goal to make them sweat, you know?
Very good, very good. Now, as we can see, you are very involved with this training camps, as we see in your DSS productions, which I would like to ask you about. What inspired you to begin DSS productions? Now, before you answer the question, I would like for everyone to take a look at the top right corner, as this is the DSS logo. Now, Mr. Igor, what inspired you to begin DSS productions?
That's an interesting question. So originally, if we're talking about YouTube channel, we named it The Life of a Dancer. And the idea was we start traveling. We start representing United States at a different competition. And last year we got the opportunity to go to 2 world championships. One of them was in Latin, one of them in show dance. And I realized that I don't have any memories from any of our trips, maybe some pictures, maybe some memories, but the original idea was just to create a videos, like almost like a video blog, when we can come back in time and see where we've been, what we were doing, and kind of like to create time-lapse machine, you know, to get back in time and enjoy the memories once again. And then we switch it, we open our studio. So we start teaching, training, and also using it as a promotion of our studio to create more popularity, let's say in the United States, for the people, for the kids, to see the whole process from inside.
Very good. Now, I would like for everyone to take a second as we watch a small snippet of the DanceSport productions, DanceSport Studio Productions. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second, share. Alrighty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a small snippet of the DanceSport Studio Productions. So moving on to the next question. So, as you mentioned previously, you went to 2 world championships. Like Seema and Matthew, you guys travel the world. So I ask you, what has been your favorite country you have traveled to?
That's a hard one.
You can start.
Every country is so unique, you know, ranging from the culture, the food, the people, architecture. I mean, both of our world championships last year were in Moscow, Russia. One was in September, our Latin one. And when we got there, it was the day of the city. So pretty much celebrating the city of Moscow. So the streets were closed. You could walk on the streets. There were no roads, like no cars on the roads. And it was such a like spectacular thing to see. I don't know. I fell in love with Moscow. And when we went in the winter time, no, it just reminded me of all of my like childhood fairy tales of Russian fairy tales. Yeah, it was like being
magical.
And what about you?
I traveled the Europe since I was a kid, so I had experience from different countries in Austria and Germany, and living in Ukraine, any country from Europe give me very bright feelings. Somewhere it's the food, somewhere it's communication with the people. From some places I was really inspired, like Italy, the way people respect their culture, the way people respect their language, and the way people respect other people. It's very nice to see. So in different country give me different feel, but for me personally, the best country that I traveled and I stayed and I choose it's United States, because this country, it just gives the feeling in my heart that in this country there is no limits for growth, no limits for development, for learning. So if we're talking about traveling, every country is amazing and I would suggest to try everything. But if we're talking about to live, I don't know. For today, my choice is United States, and it's in my heart.
Very good, very good. So in my head, I'm thinking you guys travel a lot, you guys experience many cultures, you guys do a lot together. So I would like to ask you, what makes you genuinely happy?
For me, it's my closest family, just to be healthy, for them to be happy, because everything else I consider being something that I can control, so to speak, like my goals or my actions. But for me, what makes me really, really happy is just to see the people around me that I love happy and healthy, and then that's it.
That's for sure is the most important. But for me personally, also, I feel happy inside when I'm understanding that I'm not living the useless life, when my life has a meaning, when I have a dream, I have a desire, and every day I'm taking actions to go there. So I would say being on a track of my desires and doing actions towards it makes me happy. And other things like food can make me really happy, or really angry if I don't have any
Peanut
food.
butter makes him really happy.
Yeah, but also I would, if we're going to speak a little bit philosophical of that, I do think that our happiness, it's our responsibility of our choices, of our mindset, because why otherwise we're here, to be here, to enjoy every moment, to be helpful to other people, because I know that right now young generation, they all striving for success, success is the goal. But I like the quote that says, what's important is what you do with your success. Because no, this is kind of what makes me happy, in 2 words.
Very good, I loved it. We must have a quote, Igor Galaц.
Oh yeah.
Now, you guys seem a very busy, always working, and always motivated to work. So I asked myself, do you guys have any free time? And in that free time, what do you like to do in the free time?
What free time? You can start.
Sleep when we can. I love to read and I love to garden, actually. So to be like, I don't know, in nature all the time. We love to hike and visit a lot of national parks, and bake. I love to bake. So that's me in my spare time, probably those 3 things.
I also feel it, like everything we're doing in life, we can split in 2 things. First one, that we're doing some actions that we're spending energy on, and other things we're doing to recover and to recharge our battery, and dancing, everything we're investing, it's for me kind of like, let's say, that energy that I'm investing in. But sometimes even go to do workouts, for me it's more as a recovery. I can go for a run and it brings me more energy after that. So I'm spending my energy basically just recovering, recharging, cleaning up my mind, and enjoying the moments. I can do anything. We can go to the movies, we're watching some shows, we can cook together, we can read to each other, we can read together, we can walk with our dog. It's lately became one of my favorite. So many things.
Very good, very good. I'm enjoying this. That is very interesting. With the free time, these competitions in Europe, these competitions here in the US, and all this traveling, I would like to ask you the same question I asked the other couples. Has there been a crazy experience or maybe even funny experience you could share with us?
Yeah.
I mean, every day something interesting is happening, you know. For me, probably one of the things that coming to my mind first, it's when I came to United States and we start dancing with Michelle. We have, let's say, language communication limits, yeah, because I didn't speak English.
Communication barrier, yeah.
Barrier, yeah, thank you. I wasn't speaking English at all, and Michelle wasn't speaking Russian at that point, so she knew at that moment two words, is yes and good in Russian. So everything I was telling to her, I had only two responses from her, yes and good. So
Молодец.
was perfect. Молодец. Then we're starting learning more. So, but that was funny. And another probably story comes to my mind about our show dance experience at Moscow.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened? You know, our coach Vladimir Karpov, he didn't broke. He
I think he tore his Achilles heel.
So
he was in a cast.
Yes, yes,
he
I
traveled
remember.
with us to Moscow, Russia, to be with us in this World Show Dance Championship.
With one operative leg.
And our show dance features a red balloon from the movie It. So
Yes,
it was
yes.
Pennywise the clown, and I was Georgie, the little boy in the rain jacket. And our show features a red balloon. So the show dance championship takes place in the Kremlin, which is pretty much the White House here in the US. The president lives there. It's sealed off. You can't get in there without a pass. And we have a few Americans who are trying to get a tank of helium into the Kremlin.
To blow the place out.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, but they allowed us, thank God.
No, they allow us on rehearsal. They didn't allow us on performance, so our balloon was half full, let's say. But the funny part, I remember that Vladimir was with one half. He was running from first, second, and third floor to get all those signatures from all people that they allow us to bring the helium into the building. It was very memorable.
It was a crazy time. And they allowed us to bring the tank of helium, but they didn't allow us to take like already a blown up balloon. So when we got into the dressing room the day before for the rehearsals, we had to blow up literally 10 balloons to make sure that they, just in case, they wouldn't pop or deflate or anything. And we had to take the tank of helium out as soon as possible.
It's also a pretty scary picture.
Oh my God.
You open the changing room and you see just 10 red balloons and no people. It's very scary.
It was, yeah. And then some of the balloons deflated, and actually in our when we got into the final, so we danced the show dance 2 times in the final. I'm in the semifinal and then in the final. And in the final, the balloon was getting so deflated that we actually got caught up in it doing some turns.
Yeah, unexpectedly.
Yeah, but it worked out okay. But it was a memorable experience, to say the least.
Let's say when Vladimir was watching the show, he was recording it, and basically he stopped and he said that he had several heart attacks when our balloon just started flowing up into the air, and I just catched it at some point.
Wow.
So it was interesting.
Wow, that is one crazy experience. So Miss Michelle, Mr. Igor, thank you so much. We will see you back in just 1 second, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro.
All righty, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now for you, we will be having a group discussion with all 4 of our couples, because our hosts, Claire and Alex, are also a competitive couple. So ladies and gentlemen, first on the floor, Seema and Matthew.
Hello.
And second, we have Mr. Alex and Miss Claire. And third, we have the wonderful Yana Carlo. And last but not least, Miss Michelle and Mr. Igor.
Long time no
Long time no see. I haven't seen you guys in so long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna go with the beautiful flower background for Miss Sima. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a question, and we will go in this row. We'll go Sima, Claire, Michelle, and Kiana in this order. How have you guys kept busy, motivated, and hardworking throughout this hard time? Mr. Matthew and Miss Sima.
Well, once quarantine started, I knew right away that, okay, there's not going to be practicing, there's not going to be any type of working out. So I decided that I would take as many Zoom classes as I can during and Zoom classes. So like probably like hip hop and contemporary and ballet. And I did, and it was absolutely a great experience, as well as Vladimir's Zoom classes that he did. He did group classes, thank God. And I also just worked out a lot. I had all the time in the world. I was like, let me get these abs. So yeah, that was me.
Yeah, my number one concern during the pandemic is obviously when it first started and we had all the lockdowns, we couldn't practice at the studio. So my number one problem was there would be no run-throughs, and so I have to keep my fitness up somehow, because the last thing I need is to lose my fitness and then come back however much longer. Now it's been like 6 months since it started, but we already have been practicing. But so I didn't want to come back and be like out of shape entirely and start from scratch basically. So you do plank, push-ups, go out for walks, and well, I started running and then I stopped because I had some other issues, but that's okay.
Oh my, very good, very good. Thank you. Miss Claire and Mr. Alex, how did you guys stay motivated and you kept pushing through these hard times while, get this ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex lives in Georgia and Miss Claire lives in Alabama, so 2 different states. How did you guys manage to keep working?
Well, we're already long distance, so we normally just practice long time on the weekends. So we just kind of couldn't practice for a good about almost 3 months. I know what I did. I took a lot of Zoom classes online. So if coaches or teachers were offering Zoom classes, I just took as many as I could. I also just kind of threw myself into school because I'm in school as well. So I really just took the time I had to finally actually do a lot with studying and just did that. And I just really tried to just, keep, like I said earlier, just stay motivated, keep watching dancing, keep exercising, still eat healthy. So that's kind of how I just handled this time.
Yeah, same here. I took also a lot of like Zoom classes with like teachers from like all over the world. As far as the studio part, it was a little bit complicated, but I managed somehow to practice. So I pretty much moved like some furniture around my room or like the living room, like whatever place I was around the house. And I just put some music and I practiced like basic drills and stuff like that. So like pretty basic stuff, or like work parts, bits and pieces of my routine. And as far as like the fitness, gyms were closed, but I managed to just work out again around the house. I jog in my neighborhood. I still do that. So, diet, exercise, I just try to adapt.
You just do what you have to.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do.
If you want it bad enough, you'll do what it takes to get it.
Very good, very good. As Office fans, adapt, react, act. All right. And now, Miss Michelle and Mr. Igor, how did you guys stay motivated? Clearly, we saw from DanceSport Studio Productions that you guys were on it every single day. But mentally, how did you guys keep pushing, keep motivated, and just keep the grind on?
Well, so we're very lucky. We have our own dance studio. It's 5 minutes from our home because we travel far to New York to train with our coach. So we need a place nearby where we can train. So we were very lucky during this time to actually have a place where we can come and practice. When everything started with coronavirus, we were just recovering from some health issues. So it gave us time to really recover. And after that, with increased health, actually, that kind of itself got us so motivated that we became hungry like never before. Because when you have some issues with health, it really puts you down mentally, not just physically, but mentally. So for me personally, that's all I needed to motivate, was me feeling better. And I think Igor was just hungry to get back on the competition floor.
No, to be honest, this time give me actually the time to review my priorities in life, to review my the way I see the world, everything. I had time to focus on really what I want. I had time relating to our dancing, for example, to break it's just apart to small pieces, to review each of them and put those cubes back together. So we also were on different Zoom classes. So we got the chance to listen and get some experience from other people and see how they're training overseas, which was very nice. But most likely we're just trying to, we can change anything. So we was trying to adapt and be as more productive as we can. We changed completely some of our habits, and till today we're still keeping some of them. So it's a good thing. So it was more time to review things, to put in new priorities, and just
and
continue living our best.
When you can't change anything around you that's going on, you kind of start looking into yourself a little bit more and what you can do at that point in terms of yourself. You can't change what's going on in the world, so you got to make the best of it. What's going on?
That is true. Very motivating. Now, Miss Kiana Barlo, I ask you the same question. How did you manage? Now, not only, ladies and gentlemen, her partner lives in a different country. How did you manage to stay motivated, stay disciplined, and keep the hustle on and keep working?
Okay, so first, I think as everybody else here, I think everybody took like Zoom classes. We took as many group classes as we could. So every single day I had like a bunch of group classes. I had private lessons with Diablo. I had private lessons with my mom's team over here. And at first I was only taking private lessons by myself, but afterwards I started taking private lessons with my dance partner. But also I agree with everybody else, like while you're in quarantine and like you can't change anything around you, you really do start to think, oh, this is like I could become better and like my stamina, or I could become more flexible. So definitely over quarantine, I tried to improve myself physically and mentally. And I focused a lot in school. I tried to finish that as much as I could because whenever quarantine is going to finish, I'm going straight to Italy, like bye-bye America. So
me and you both.
Yeah. So
I'm the third.
I guess this was also kind of keeping me motivated, the thought that quarantine might finish anytime. Well, not finish, but they might open the countries and let other people from different countries go and travel. So I always have to keep myself prepared, and I always have to keep myself in a good physicality. Yeah. So my point is I always have to have a good body, have to be able to leave and go to competitions whenever. So
yes, very good. Thank you so much, Ms. Kiana. Now, the last group question that I have, and now I ask each of you to keep it just slightly short. All of us have clearly experienced Zoom lessons during the quarantine because we had to stay motivated and sharp. Now, I ask all of you, should we keep this Zoom system for the future? Do you think it could be something we could keep in the future? For instance, do a virtual camp in case maybe a couple can't make it to a certain country, or like you guys say, sometimes school might get in the way. So this way you might still be able to attend a camp or some sort of event. Do you guys think that Zoom should somehow stay in the future after these dark times? Seema and Matthew.
Well, just like you said, I think it's great for people that are in different states that can experience, getting some kind of lessons with the teacher that they aren't able to, at least like every day and stuff. People could offer these Zoom classes or online classes, and whoever wants to go, whoever decides like, oh, like, let me take, they'll take it.
Yeah, I don't think definitely wouldn't hurt to keep it. If you want to go to a camp in Europe, but you obviously don't have the schedule, it could be you could just make part of the camp is based on Zoom. So I think it's an interesting idea, and we can definitely develop some kind of system for that and get basically everyone more involved, even when they can't spend the money or spend the time flying to a different country or going to travel to, upstate New York.
Very good. Very interesting. Yes. Miss Claire and Miss.
I think Zoom classes have been great and they've really helped a lot of people. This year, I think that's actually a great idea to maybe, if I want to go to a camp in another country and I can't, I still at least like to be able to watch, so I think it's a great option and I think it's something that should definitely stick around.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you have, for example, a camp in Europe, like she said, and you can't make it because of like school, work, schedule, crazy life, you can still attend it. I mean, you're just like a button away, like a click away from meeting a top teacher.
That is true, 100%, because a lot of very good lectures and Zoom lessons are in Europe. Mr. Igor and Miss Michelle, could I have your thoughts on this?
My answer is absolutely no. I love the human factor. I'm tired from Zoom. So let's cut it off. But if to be seriously, I think it saves so much time. Even if we're talking about some business meetings, you don't have to go and meet with people. You can see each other. You can figure out things much faster, because in our days things are happening so faster. You need to be able to make quick decisions. So why not? We can share our experience, share our knowledge. So I think it's very
we took
useful.
some great classes from like Ruslan Aidayev from their club in Russia. We took with Andrei Zaitsev, Franco Formica. So to have the opportunity to actually, kind of have a piece of that when you're here in America, especially, it's great.
Just to listen at least to them, to have a
But I mean, instead of in-person classes, it's hard constantly.
I would not switch, but I would for sure add it as an other option. So, yeah.
Very good answer. I agree 100%. Miss Kiana, your thoughts on this subject?
So I agree with everybody else. I think Zoom is obviously a very good program and it helps us with like lessons. But I would also agree that instead of in-person classes, I wouldn't switch them because, for example, with me and Giuseppe, it's definitely harder to practice on Zoom than in person because I already know for sure the moment we're going to see each other, it's going to be different how we dance because we haven't literally danced with each other in 9 months. But also Zoom is good because without Zoom, we wouldn't be able to practice right now. So it has its pros and cons. Once Corona is finished, I would say that we should still keep Zoom because, again, as everybody else said, if you want to take lessons with Ruslan Aidayev or just in general, if you can't go anywhere, that would be good. But I wouldn't have Zoom for camps because that would be kind of interesting.
Very good. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now excuse you all. Thank you so much, and I will see you one last time, all right? See you guys later. All right. Claire, Alex, what do you guys think of this marathon so far?
I think it's been really great. It's really been nice to learn just about some of the people who are active in competitive dancing and kind of just what a day in their life looks like.
Yes, me personally, I'm sorry, Mr. Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say very inspiring stories. For example, Matthew and Seema, they're still in college. I'm in college, so I can relate.
Yeah.
They're difficult times, but you just got to push through it, and everything's gonna be okay in the end.
Yes, I was very moved by all the stories with Igor's motivation and Seema's personality, beautiful personalities, and Giuseppe's amazing story about the Romania. So I will see you guys as well later on as you guys will introduce our third surprise guest, ladies and gentlemen. All right? See you guys later. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce our first surprise guest. Now, before she joins. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is originally from Russia. She moved to Italy to dance in June of 2019. She went to Italy to dance with Mr. Stefano Mendolia. So yes, guys, I am talking about Miss Oksana Kononova. Their first competition together was 1 year ago today in Slovenia. As a dance couple, they have reached finals for International Open, World Open competitions. They're top 50 in the WDSF ranking and finalists of the Italian Championship 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, Oksana Kononova. Hello, Miss Oksana. How are you today?
Now
I think you are on mute, Miss
yes,
Oksana.
now my microphone is activated. So hello to everybody. Thank you. I'm feeling great today. And how are you, Alessandro?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking me. Let's get right into it, Miss Oksana. Now, I'd like to ask you some deep, nice questions. So let's begin. How do you think dancing has made you a better person?
Okay, for this question, I can tell you the answer from two sides. First side is physical preparation.
I'm so sorry. There we go.
So, for physical parts, we know that a lot of children in the childhood, they have a problem with the weight. So when they're going to dance to lose the weight a little bit. So this is the first part. And this part, what Stefano wanted to say, so it was for him. For me, the second part, mental, because in dancing, we are in the dance society and we need to communicate with each other, and especially with the men. So if we are dancing, we need to communicate with a lot of people, and this skill is very helpful in our life.
That is true, 100%. I agree. Moving on, what has been the biggest sacrifice you have made for your sport?
Okay, the biggest sacrifice for now, I think still, is the moving from my nature country, from Russia, to Europe, let's say like this. Because firstly, I needed to move in Italy already 3 years ago, but something went wrong. And from Russia, I came to Italy, did one practice, and directly moved to Germany. So from Russia, in the end, I moved to Germany. I was living there like about 1 year and a half. And after, unfortunately or fortunately, I think that everything what is going for a good reason. Now I'm in Italy. So I needed to move 3 years ago, and I'm here.
Very good. Moving from one country to another country for your sport it's a very strong act. Having moved to Italy, is there by any chance you have a favorite Italian soccer team?
No.
No? Okay.
Because I'm really not too much interested in this, but I know that there are a lot of fans of Inter.
Inter?
This I know. Yes.
Juventus. Always Forza Juventus. So, moving on. Having that you made the sacrifice of moving to Italy, you must be very committed, and you are very committed to dancing. So, I ask you, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
So this is quite a difficult question, because as a dancer, I want to reach as much as I can, as much as will allow my body. And of course, I want to teach, because I like to teach children and also adult people to dance. And I see myself as already a sportsman who achieved a good result, and a good teacher who is producing good and high-level couples.
Very good. Very interesting. That is, yes. So now I ask you this last question, Miss Oksana. This is a very nice question. I asked this question to all the other couples, and I'm sure you have a beautiful response ready. What has been the craziest or funniest experience you have had throughout your dance career?
Okay, throughout my dance career, really, I had a lot of situations, but I think the most interesting, they are still here in Europe when I already moved. And the craziest thing which I did, that I'm alone, was moving through all Europe with the Flixbus. This is the company, I think, that's also well known in USA, because this is the cheapest way how you can get from one country to another. And with this Flixbus, really, I was across all the Europe. So these trips are unbelievable, because you know that there are a lot of passengers who are coming, and you have you need to be very very ready for everything. So these trips, thanks God that everything is very good.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Sometimes on the bus. I would love to ask you, seeing you have traveled the world as well, like our other couples, two of the questions I asked my previous couples. I'd like to know, if you had the opportunity, what language would you want to learn? First question. And the second question, which country that you have traveled to is your favorite so far?
Okay, for the first question, as I already, okay, my mother language is Russian. I already know English, Italian as well, and German a little bit. Okay, German I knew better, but as I went to Italy a little bit, I started not to speak very good in German, but okay. And the languages which I wanted to know is Chinese, I think. But Chinese is really too much different. So maybe this dream I can do when I finish my dancing career. And
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah. And for the second question about the country, I think I need to explore better. So for now, I can't tell you which country was really the best for me. I think that I still didn't find the place which I can say, wow, this is really amazing.
Okay, I understand. Now, Ms. Oksana, it seems like we have a question from our audience. Now, ladies and gentlemen in our audience, if you would like to ask any questions at all, please go ahead. Now, this question comes from the user ExpertGamer2134, and he wants to know, what are some ways she kept herself focused?
Okay, for focus, it's of course because I'm from Russia. So we have already a good discipline from our childhood, because when we are already like in the age of 5 years old, our moms are doing a schedule that every day we need to go to somewhere. For example, on Monday you're going to dance, on Tuesday you're going to sing, on Wednesday you're going to the theater classes, and as well for all the week. So this really what helps to be focused. And the other thing is you need to understand which is your aim. Where are you going? What is the goal for which you're working?
Very good. That is motivating. That is 100% true. Miss Oksana, I would love to thank you deeply from my heart. You are very motivating. Your dance videos are amazing to watch, you and Stefano. I cannot wait to meet you in person. You are very inspirational to me. So thank you so much for coming on to the Marathon of Champions.
Thank you very much, Alessandra, for inviting us. And for all Scalora Dance Academy, we are very appreciate for this. And also we are waiting a lot that we can see each other, not through internet, but our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Oksana. Thank you so much. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some, excuse me, the last surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Claire Shepard and Mr. Alex back with us, and they will introduce our third surprise guest.
Hey guys, I'm really excited for this last guest. This is someone that I really have a lot of respect for, really admire. She is the director of the Volga Dance Academy, and
She is also a WDSF judge.
we really love her a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Katrina Volgina.
Guys. Hello.
Hello, Miss Katerina.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
I think so. Is everyone good to go?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Miss Katerina Volgina, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Let's start with the first question. Before we begin with the first question, I'd like to talk a little bit about your Volga Dance Academy. The Volga Dance Academy is found here in Atlanta. What could you tell us about your academy?
The academy turned into a center now where we have many different disciplines, including Russian language, art, chess, boxing, mini football. So academy is a step to my big goal, to my big purpose.
Very good. Now it looks like already we have a question from the audience. Mr. Honry asks, when did she start her dance career? I think he means her dancing career.
It's her mine. I understand. I started my dance career when I was 5 years old.
Very good, very good. What inspires you to focus so much on the younger generation of dancers? Because on the Volga Dance page and everywhere in Volga Dance Academy, we see so many kids and so many youth. So what inspires you to focus so much on these beautiful young dancers?
I would like to focus on young dancers because it's our future. We already do have a past, so I would like to build the future, and I truly believe that we can't predict it. We can't predict the future. The only way to predict it is to build it now.
100%. The following question goes about the history of Volga dance. So the question is, what is the history behind the name Volga Dance Academy? Where does Volga come from?
It is very simple. My last name is Volgina. Came from the name of the river in Russia, Volga. And back in the day in Russia, the last names were given by the place where people lived. So I'm assuming my coaches, my father's relatives were somewhere from that area. So when I took his last name, there was no doubt on how my club was going to be called.
Very interesting. Let's get into a little bit of a topic we crossed earlier with some of the dancers about motivation and staying hardworking. How would you describe the difference between motivation and discipline?
I don't do motivation. I only do discipline. So I cannot tell you how do I describe the difference. The difference, it should not be the difference, but there is. When person is motivated, sometimes we can be motivated today and not motivated tomorrow. So the only discipline part of the motivation will help you. I am not running on motivation. I do run on discipline. So in this case, guys, for motivation is not my story. It's not to me. I can teach you how to be disciplined, but I cannot teach you how to be motivated. You have to do it yourself.
100%. This next question comes from our audience, from Expert Gamer 2134, who I believe is Mr. Yakov Vinik. He asks, what kept you dancing all these years?
My coach.
Could you tell us a little bit? Could you elaborate?
I at 7 years old, I knew exactly I knew exactly who I want to be. I wanted to teach kids, and I also wanted to have a boarding school. See, I was dreaming big when I was little. Now, I think the dancing was my part of escape. I came from like my biological family is a little rough, so so the dance was my escape place, and I kept dancing to feel better. Now, what kept me through the years, that was my coach, because I never had an option to quit. It was just not an option. I never wanted to, but I wanted to quit one time when I was like 16. I came and I told my coach that I had enough. And he's like, okay, back on the dance floor. So, and that's it.
So clearly, you have a very committed, a very straightforward vision in dancing.
Yes.
So our audience member was thinking along the same lines. What got you into fitness? Miss Sima Sarikov would like to know.
Oh, into fitness. Well, I was always, my coach always was always pushing us to be in our best shape. Since we were little kids, we were always, we were doing a lot of squats and a lot of physical activities. So that was kind of like a part of it. Then I had to go, not I had to, I chose to go to a physical training university. And once I got there, this is when I was introduced to sports like boxing, wrestling, swimming, cycling. There were so many different sports, and this is where I learned to appreciate sports in general. That how when the athlete is a masters of sports or international masters of sports, I was surrounded by some great athletes. So I was watching them every day on how they practice. For example, swimmers, they get up at like 4 a.m. and at 5 a.m. they're already in the pool swimming laps, so they can do their first practice and then get to the to their classes by like 7:45, 8. Be in college all day, be done at around 3, go back to the pool and swim laps again. That's that's dedication and hard work. So when we dancers come and we're like, oh, maybe I don't practice today, I don't know, I'm not motivated, and like my coach was always telling me, do you want to hit the pool, you want to do like 30 laps instead, like what do you want? There was no option for me not to be in shape. So then eventually I learned to that there is a fitness, that there is a physical training, that there is things that can help people to feel better, to get endorphins in their system. And after many years of knowledge and working with dancers and everything else, I came to the point when I felt strong that I can write the programs for the dancers and for the athletes. It has to do with education and a good example of my surroundings, because we choose our surroundings.
We choose it 100%. The next question comes from our audience member. He asks, why do you think it is important to dance with other teams?
It is extremely important to dance, and it's actually a very good question. I like it.
Comes from Mr. Henry Risenson.
Henry Risenson. Of course, who else can ask questions like that? Hey. Yes, it is important to dance with other teams, because otherwise we will end up dancing we end up boiling in our own juice. We will be stuck in one box, and we will not know what is outside of the box. How they say in America, think outside the box. So that's the prime example of why to get inspired, maybe to get experience, to hit the floor with some of the top dancers, right? To compare, to learn. So this is why it is very important. Henry, I love you. Very good question.
And our following question comes from Mr. Yakov Vinnik.
Okay.
Do you always find yourself busy with workouts, dance, work, or do you give yourself free time?
Yakov, again, another cool guy with the cool questions. Do I give myself free time? What is free time? Define free time, please. I don't really understand what free time is. Like, meaning free time is when I'm sleeping. Yes.
Yes.
I guess that's
Yes.
free time. Other than that, my free time is when I go to the gym and I am working out. That's my free time. I love it.
All right, free time.
I don't do anything else. I don't party. I never really like to party. I don't do. I don't shop. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't know. I think I just have too much energy, and that's
The discipline. It's the
that's what
discipline
it
in
is.
you.
Maybe discipline throughout the years.
So throughout the years, as you said, throughout the years, both your competitive career and professional career, what has been the craziest experience or funniest in your dance career or professional career?
In my dance career, when back in Russia, when we had to do a whole bunch of small presentations, and one time we came to on a train. It was some craziest train. We traveled for the whole week on a train, stopped on the small villages, and all that process was created to benefit veterans from World War II, and a lot of veterans live in a small villages, so they don't get any entertainment. So in my city, they created a whole train full of different entertainers, like ballroom dancers, gymnasts, singers. I mean, the whole train was like that. So we traveled to small villages, and of course we were from the city, and we all ballroom dancers. I think I was like 19 or 18, something like that. And we came to this little tiny village, hoping that they will have like some type of a stage, maybe, or I don't know, like some building, right, where you're supposed to dance. And that village was so small, they didn't have any building, any stage, so they just put the floor made out of some woods right in the middle of like nowhere. It was just a floor, and we would drop out at the field and the floor. It's not even a floor, just a wood lane. And then they said, well, you're gonna have to dance here today. And that was very interesting experience, because it was not even a floor. I prefer to dance just on the ground, but whatever. So they did what they could for us. But I have to tell you, I will never forget these people, because they were just so excited to see us, and they were dancing and singing with us, and they brought us, they didn't know who is coming. They brought us cans of milk and bread and vegetables to feed us, because one lady said, she looked at us, she said, they're so small, they're so skinny. And then so they told somebody else, and people started to bring us food while we were dancing. It was amazing. It was it was fun.
Very good. Now, our last question for Miss Katerina. We will give the opportunity to others as well to ask the questions, but Mr. Yakov has one last final question. He asks, one last final question, Miss Katerina, давай. What is your mindset when coaching at a competition? Is it the same as in the studio, or do you think more competitively?
When coaching at a competition, I don't coach at competitions. You mean like when I go with you to competitions?
Yes.
When I go with the students, no, my mindset is, because first of all, it's a totally different hat, because when you are a base coach, you wear one hat, you plan things. Your job is to create a sense of team for the team. Once you get to competition, then you're a competitive coach at that point, and it's a totally different hat. And my only focus and goal for my kids to do their best. I don't care what place they're going to take. It is always going to be 1 first, 1 second, 1 third. It doesn't matter what they're going to take. What matters is if they do their best. For example, if the guy goes on the floor and there's like not his best potential, right? And then he gets first, and then somebody out there who dances at his best potential and he gets a 6th place. Who is the winner? Who really is the winner? So I always focus on the kids to do their best without any trauma, let's say. So I really do care about my kids, and I'm actually very lucky and privileged to have you all.
One would say
in
you
my
are like
team.
one would say you are like a second mother to all of these children. So,
Yes.
Miss Katerina, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Marathon of Champions. I'd like to thank you for all your words of discipline, not motivation, words of discipline
Yes.
and encouragement. Thank you so
And
much.
may I say something real quick? I watched the whole thing, and I wanted to tell you, Alessandra, how proud I am of you, because this is a really amazing job that you do, bringing people together, unite people together. This is what we really need right now in a coronavirus time, an election time, is to stay united. And I listened to all the stories of Sima and Riji and Ginger, and guys, and Kiana. It's really, and Giuseppe. It's really, like, if you think about it, how the guys go through these times, how they practice online, how they do anything and everything possible to sustain, to maintain. It's a lot of respect to you all, and I want to thank you for being in our sport, because our sport is the best sport, and we just have to stay united and hear each other's voices, and do what we can at 100%.
Thank you so much, Miss Katerina. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, we have a question from Dance Mania. Are Igor, Michelle here? Hello. Hey guys, so we have a question from Dance Mania about you. If I'm correct, Michelle, you're from the United States, and Igor, you're from Ukraine. Can't hear you.
Oh, we're on mute. Ukraine, that's right.
Ukraine, yes.
Excuse us?
I said you're from Ukraine, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
How'd you guys meet?
Oh, funny story. Yeah, so I started actually quite late dancing, Latin American dancing. So I started when I was 14 in American rhythm, actually. And at 15, I switched to Latin. And I started traveling to Philadelphia and then to Brooklyn, dancing everywhere pretty much at all the different clubs and studios. And I couldn't find a partner. I really, really wanted a partner. So my dad had the crazy idea. He said, well, why don't you start looking overseas? What parents would actually do that at that age, a young girl of 15? And my dad was crazy enough to bring up this idea. So I started posting on dancesportinfo.net, on Facebook, and all those partner searches. And Igor wrote to me one day. So
from my side, story happened on April 26, 2014. I just came back from competition from Poland, and I split with my 12th partner in Ukraine. And I said, no more Ukrainian girls with their mentality, because they want school, they want partying, they want something quick and now, so they don't want to reach something, put their lifetime to create, to develop something. So I said, no more mentality of Ukrainian girls. I started searching also online. And that's actually how we texted Michelle on my broke English. And she texted me back, do you speak Russian? And I'm like, thank you. It was like, I came to my mom and I said, Mom, I found a partner. Where is she from? I said, from America. Just forget about it. Nothing's going to happen. Just forget about it. I said, no, Mom, I'm leaving. I decided. So the process took us almost 9 months for me from Ukraine to be able to come to the United States to practice. So that's basically how we start first communicating, learning about each other.
We have like 4.5 year difference in age. So when I was 16 at the time and he was 20, he was turning 21. It was really, really tough decision, because to have, an older guy come and live with us. We still live together, and then we got married. You know, I'm very grateful that my parents were so crazy, probably crazier than I am, to allow it, and that he was just crazy enough to move across the ocean to come and live with us and train. So
basically, Michelle just watched one of my videos of dancing, and she said him. And I'm like, of course.
It's true, actually.
It's a long but funny story. Yeah, things happens for we. I mean, so many amazing things can happen. We have to open our minds and believe in the heart, because at the moment when I experienced coming here to this country, for me, it's for sure was impossible. But because I had very strong belief in my life that that's exactly what I want, it eventually happened. So yeah.
That's awesome. I think it's great we have just those resources, like you said, the dance partner, search, everything. That's how we got together. So we're a little similar, but I'm really glad that you guys were able to get together and just have this really awesome partnership.
Thank you, guys.
That was beautiful. Yes, 100%. Thank you to Dance Mania Academy in Canada for the question. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex, Miss Claire, Mr. Eager, Miss Michelle, I will excuse you 2 seconds. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the closing ceremonies of the Marathon of Champions, I would love to thank each and every one of you who participated, who supported, who viewed, who shared, and promoted with me. I'd love to take each and every one of you for your comments, your questions. Thank you so much, and we would all like to close out with the way you begin and start a lesson. So ladies and gentlemen, if I call my couples back, let's go ahead and take this bow. You ready? 5, 6,
We'll sit down.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, guys. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing, each and every one of you. I'm so proud to call all of you guys friends. I cannot wait to see you guys in person as soon as all this dark times is over. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Alessandro, I would like to give you a big thank you for what you're doing. We're wishing you great success with your marathons. Don't stop. Jump it on a completely different level, because it's a great chance to learn about so many interesting people. So it's just the beginning of your path. You're doing a great job. Continue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Amazing and inspiring. Thank you, Alessandro, for having all of us and connecting us in different states, and it's just incredible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you, guys.
We love you.
All right, guys. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we close the Marathon of Champions. Thank you so much for